I've always been fascinated. I have always been fascinated by tree roots, and the tree root is something that I've always been fascinated by because it is always searching and always digging to find the source of life, to find water, and I just think that as water, even as thinking of water, how water will find its way into anything and any crevice over time. Um, the root is chasing that life source. That root is chasing it, and it goes, and it'll go through anything. It'll break concrete. It'll push up asphalt. It'll go through a wall, a brick wall, and whatever it needs to do, it'll get through those barriers, and it'll cut right through in order to find life, to be able to give life to that tree. You dig? To be able to give that life to that tree so that that tree can bear fruit. Okay? Whatever its kind is, it will bear that fruit. I've always thought that was truly, truly amazing. And it says here, I am the vine. Well, let's back up. No branch can bear fruit by itself. Okay? So no branch can bear fruit by itself. And I think that as men, just even thinking about and on that subject of being a man, a married man with children, you actually can't do that alone, right? And you need other men. You need other men that are going to be authentic to be authentic to the cause, to that cause of building a successful, proper relationship with their spouse. And so no branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. Okay? Remain in the creator. I am the vine. You are the branches. If a man remains in me, I am in him. He will bear fruit. He will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. We have to be connected, right? We have to be connected to the source. We have to be connected to the creator. That without that, we're nothing. You dig? And so it's extremely important that, I mean, I could take this verse. I'm just using this as a reference to be connected to God, to be connected to the creator, right? The creator. And so I find myself married the first 5, 10 years, and I find myself completely just lost. And I thought I was connected. You dig? I thought I was connected. I thought I was doing the right things, and I was going through the motions, and I was reading the right things, and I was doing things that I thought people wanted me to do. You dig? I was serving, and I was leading, and I was learning about leadership, and I was growing, and I was doing all the things, and yet I still felt emptiness because within the confines of church, it was lacking something. It was I assumed that it was lacking something. It was definitely lacking something because it wasn't. There was no realness. Everyone was trying to do their own thing. Everyone was so busy looking good. Everybody was so busy looking good, and how they can grow and how they can and grow their ministry. You see what I'm saying? And so I can remember even working at the church. I can remember just being lost. Like, man, y'all are so like, how was a pastor treating? I remember when I first started working at the church. I remember the pastor just not having that, always having that time for me. You know what I mean? And I get it, but I'm like, dang, bro, like you have staff and you can't even give time to your staff. You don't give time to your congregation and you don't give time to your staff. Like, that's just like, come on now. I just think that's silly, at that time. And I was young at the time. I was 18, 19 years old around that time. And so I didn't really understand, why. But I was like that root. I was like that root because if I couldn't get to that source, you know what I'm saying? I got to a source of, I talked to one of the executive pastors. His name was Pastor Ed, and this was an old man's man. Like, he was an old iron worker. Like, this guy was just he was about 6'2", hands like humongous, just a burly man. You know what I mean? Just a rough. Like, I even questioned, like, man, how did God change his life? Like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? At that time in 2000 or whatever I graduated high school, actually. So it was 1996, 1997, maybe. And I remember sitting down with him because I had a lot of questions, right? I looked at myself as the root. I looked at myself as, if I can't find it here and I hit a wall and I can't go through that wall for whatever reason, right? I can't penetrate, and I can't find, even if I went through the wall and I didn't find the source, I didn't find water, I didn't find nutrients, right? I went somewhere else. Immediately I went somewhere else. And so literally he was the next office down, and I talked to him and I was like, I forget exactly what I asked him. It was around the topic of, what do you do while you wait for God's blessing, or what do you do while you wait for God to bring you into your ministry, to bring you into your purpose, right? What do you do? And he looked at me with his legs crossed, and he just, I don't know if I ever saw the man smile, honestly. I don't remember ever seeing this man smile, but still never saw him smile. And he's long and passed away. But he looked at me and he looked at me like almost confused, like, you don't wait. There is no waiting. You're not waiting. What you're doing is you're taking the steps. 1 step, 2 step, 3 step. You're making strides. You're building blocks, because he was a builder. So he always referenced building. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't dream of a house that I build. I don't like, oh man, how come I can't have this house that I built? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why it's not happening. I don't understand why it's not happening. Well, you don't start with the roof. You start with the foundation. So that foundation has to be there, right? So I even in my marriage, I was just like lost, because I didn't even have the foundation. And even if I had it, I didn't even know that I had it. No one ever told me, hey, Mark, you got this already. You already have everything that you need inside of you, right? And so Pastor Ed, he said, you start with that foundation. You don't even pour the concrete first. You got to have the rebar in there. You got to put the rebar in first. And then you have to have even before that, you got to test the ground. You got to dig maybe even miles down, lots of feet down, to even make sure that dirt can withstand a house of this magnitude of what you're trying to build. And so I was like, okay. And even then, I remember just not listening. You know what I'm saying? Not really understanding that, and not having the discipline and not having the process to get to that point. See, that's where I come in right now, is I have done the research, and I have done the thinking and the thought and building the mindset. I have this little thing over here, this poster that my daughter gave me. It says mindset, and on the top it has a little lion as a cub, and then the reflection is when he gets older with his mane and everything like that. And wow, I'm getting emotional even thinking about that, just because it's like a lot of times, even as men, we feel inferior, we feel defeated right out the gate. We feel just like, oh, we're losing already. You know what I'm saying? We feel small. Even because of maybe our past decisions, our wrong decisions that we've made that have brought us and gave us destruction, right? And we look at our situation in our marriage as married men with our kids. We look at our situation and we go, man, I failed. You have not failed, actually. You have not failed, right? Because you this is the beginning. This is the beginning. The beginning, it may look dark. You dig? It may look bleak. It may look scarce. It may look like a desert. But you got to be the root. You dig? You got to be the root. And so, welcome to Trey Show 9. Welcome to Trey Show None. I am who I am. Before there was me, there was about 8,000 generations before me. And those 8,000 generations before me paved the path. They have laid down the necessary rebar. They have laid down the concrete. They have laid down the foundation for me to be right here doing what I'm doing right now. And on that process, this is the process. You have to do the process. I wake up every morning, and what do? I wake up every morning and I say, I want to be loved today. I want to be the best father today. I want to be the best husband today. I want to be the best communicator today. I want to be the best friend today. I want to be the best coach. That's, when I wake up, these are the things. When I write notes, I read, I listen to things. It could be whatever, man. I'll listen to some hip hop music. You know what I'm saying? I'll listen to some hip hop music to get me in that zone. You dig? I'll listen to, I like listening to Les Brown, Garrett White, and just to name a few, and I'll read a bunch of stuff. I may be reading 2 or 3 things all at one time. I may be reading 2 or 3 books all at one time. And I take the stance of, okay, what am I going to do today? Who do I want to be today? Whose am I? Whose am I? Whose am I? I ask myself, whose am I? And I think about my ancestors. I think about the 8,000 generations before me for me to be right here, right now. They had to survive for me to be here. Same for you. Same for you. So let's go, men. It's time to ignite, right? The warrior within. It's time. I call it my nephew and I maybe 2 years ago, every year we say it's the year of the gangster. It's the year of the gangster. Why? When I was younger, I used to love actually to watch gangster movies. I don't know what it was, but gangster movies, I still to this day, man, I will find a gangster movie. I found a black and white gangster movie of, what's that guy's name? I want to say Napoleon Hill. It's not Napoleon Hill. Well, that's one gangster. You know what I'm saying? But it was the Valentine Massacre guy. What was his name? Had the scar on his face. He was original Scarface. I forgot what his name was. Oh my gosh, it just went out of my mind. But anyway, I went to go buy this film, and in the opening scene, they're running liquor. Okay, they're running liquor, and then Prohibition hits, and then they got to go underground with it. Okay. And things are getting really bleak, and they need protection because people are trying to steal their beer. People are trying to steal their alcohol. And so they hired this guy to come in, trying to tell a story. I'll think of his name when I think of it, and I'll say it. But they had this guy come in, and he when he walks in, he has this pompous, like arrogant, confident attitude, right? And society doesn't want men to have that attitude. Because they're like, well, that's toxic, and you don't need to be like that, and blah 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 blah, right? Whatever, right? But it's the gangster year, because what is a mindset of a gangster? A mindset of a gangster is, I'm gonna get done what I need to get done, how I need to get it done, so that I can produce something. I am trying to produce something, and I need to be able to do that, whatever means necessary, however. Right. And so I think about my ancestors that way. They came in and they had to like make it. They had to live through situations that were bleak. They had to live through situations that were harsh. You see what I'm saying? And as a man, you got to just realize it's the realization. You're realizing it's the real thing that is happening right now. That you have to go and beyond what society has given you. Beyond what society has given you, because society is only giving you things that are weak. They want to dumb things down. They want to dumb things down. And we're not taking that. We're not doing that. We are not doing that. All right. So sorry, I got a little amp there. No branch can bear fruit by itself. We are a band of brothers. We are warriors. Now, I'm not saying that every single man has to take up a sword and this and that, fit a real actual sword, right? But you can take a symbol of a sword, right? And what is that? That is your words. That is how you conduct yourself. That is your character. Your character. Your name. Your name and your character is what is your sword. And that right there will go a long, long way. I get passionate when I talk, man. Woo! Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Actually, I'm learning this year. I'm learning how to not say sorry. So I'm actually not sorry. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine. You are the branches. The vine, the thing that is taking from the source of life, taking from the nutrients and bringing you, and you're the branches have the little look. Let's see if I can bring this out. This is I just really just picked this up right now, but this is an example. Like you have this vine, right, and these will be the branches right here, and these little things, these branches will bear the fruit, like on an apple tree or any kind of tree, a grapefruit, whatever, anything, right? And so my ancestors before me, they fought the good fight for me to be here. So I have to do that justice. I have to do it justice, and I have to what was given to me, I have to do good and bear fruit with what was given to me, with what is given to me. You dig? And so Trey Show 9, we're moving to a place where we're going to be doing group coaching, right? We're moving to a place where we're going to be sharing that wisdom. You dig? And so I want to kind of go into a thing right now where when I first got married, I was, like I said, I was lost. And it's I don't really know exactly what it was. But there was things I needed to change. I needed to grow. And so what did I do? Well, I got and I dug deep. And I took elements from my life. Things that were unresolved. Trauma that was unresolved. I took those things. I took the trauma of not having a father. I took the trauma of not having my biological mother, not having my parents raise me. I was raised by my auntie and my grandmother. And I was raised by partly I was raised by my uncles. Yet and still it was I wasn't happy with that. The natural thing is I wanted my parents to be there. I wanted to have that family because all the kids at my school, they were always talking about how their mom and dad did this and mom and dad, mom and dad, mom and dad, mom and dad. I didn't have that. And so I felt like I was lacking. And I didn't understand that I already had everything that I needed to be great. I already had that inside of me. I didn't understand that. I didn't get that then. I get it now. And so I'm watching a lot of people, I'm watching a lot of men get divorced. And it's not funny. But I laugh because it's not even necessary. Sometimes they might need to get divorced from that woman because they may be growing. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times these men they're not at the level yet of their own potential, of where they can be because they already got the greatness inside of them. They're not there yet because maybe someone hasn't told them. They're still holding on to trauma. A lot of these men have mommy issues. And that's why when I talk to women, they say their men are not emotionally stable. I had to become emotionally stable. How did I do that? I became emotionally stable by having a mindset. I needed a mindset of, I may feel like a little lion. I may feel like a little lion cub, but I'm a grown ass lion with the full mane. And I will conquer this thing. Not even by myself, but I will conquer this. And I will tap in. And a lot of times, and I think as I'm talking right now, honestly, I'm thinking about the church, and the church just keeps you busy for their own purpose. They got their own agenda and their own purpose, and they're busy, and they just want to distract you. So even though that's actually good to a certain degree, but then when you slow down, you realize the darkness is still there with you. And that darkness never gets dealt with. And the women in the church, they're not going to help you. They can't help you. What are they going to do? They can only get so far with you. They can only get so far. They don't know what it's like to be a man. Just like I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I have no idea. And so I'm going to make a challenge to you. I'm going to make a challenge. If you see this video, you're a man, you're a married man. You're a married man with children. The challenge is, and the call to action is, that you get a hold of me in my DMs and you link up and you book a call with me. Especially if you're at your wit's end. I had this professor, he had said, this person has hit the wall. I never understood that. You got to hit the wall first. You got to come to the end of yourself first. And he gave this analogy of an alley. So an alley has a wall here and a wall on each side, and then has a wall over here. You walk into the alley. I want you to imagine yourself right now as a man walking into the alley, and every step you take is just a year on your life. You know, I'm 47 right now, so maybe you're taking 50 steps, 20 steps, 18 steps, whatever it is, and you hit this wall, and the wall is just too high for you to go over. And that hitting that wall represents that you've come to the end of yourself. And then you look and you feel empty at that point. You might feel empty. You might feel trapped. You might feel lonely. You might feel small, insignificant, overlooked. And these are things that I felt those things. I felt all of those things. And he goes, what do you have to do at that point? You got to turn around. You got to turn yourself around and go back. And you have to face the things that you didn't face. And that's what I had to do. And that's what got my marriage to go to the next level. Is that I had to be, there's this thing out there right now. There's a movement out there called MGTOW, men going their own way. And I looked at that and I've read some stuff and I looked at some stuff and it's like, okay, how do I implement that, but in my marriage though? And so even within your marriage, you have to go your own way. You have to find yourself. You have to build your character. You have to build your character. You have to understand who you are. Understand, I wrote this down. The number one thing is having understanding. How do you bridge the gap? How do you bridge the gap? Well, you have to have understanding. You got to have understanding of who you are, where you've come from, and you got to debunk all the bullshit. You got to take a look at, all right, I'm lazy. You know what I'm saying? I procrastinate. I get mad easily. I yell. I'm just angry and bitter. I'm always complaining. And you got to then take those things and you got to understand why. You got to think back. Maybe it's because your dad yelled at you a lot. Maybe your mom called you a loser. Maybe your mom and dad said you would never amount to anything. Maybe your teacher said you would never amount to anything. Maybe your teacher said because you're black, you'd be dead at age 21 to 25. You're going to be dead. What the hell? I remember that. I was like, what? Why would you even tell me something like that? Why would a teacher, a woman at that, talk to, well, you shoot, as a black man, if you keep down this path, and I'm like, keep down what path? What are you talking about? If you keep down this path, and if you keep, you don't get your education, you're going to go down a path, you're probably going to get into gangs, and then you're probably going to die. Statistics say that blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, honestly, I wanted to slap her. I think I might even said that. I used to be in the principal's office a lot as a kid because I could never keep my mouth shut. Never keep my mouth shut. Oh, I could never keep my mouth shut. My mom tried everything. She'd send me to counseling, send me to church, basic youth camps, all kinds of church camps, and this, and that. I was just a rebel. I was just wild. And I didn't know to not, I actually, in my boys, as my boys are, don't ever lose that wildness. Stay wild, but just learn how, I did teach them how to harness that wildness and then put it out when it's necessary. When it's necessary, then you can use force when necessary. And I don't mean force by like physical force, but just mindset force. Right? It may be even love. I have to move through this life as a man via love. Right? And so bridging that gap with understanding of who you are. I wasn't that. You know what I'm saying? And so who was I? It took me a long time to figure that out. I had to reprogram my mind. And I had to erase the things that were taught to me, that were told to me, that were spoken over me, the generational curses, whatever. I don't believe in generational curses, actually. I believe in there's generational behaviors that we need to break by creating new habits. By creating new habits and becoming a new person, being reborn, then we can stop those generational habits, those generational, what the church calls generational curses. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in generational curses. I don't. And so what I had to do in my own marriage is I had to create my own lane and my own path, and I had to make a decision. I had to decide. There's a fly buzzing around. I had to decide that I am going to work at this marriage. I will work at this marriage. I will not stop. I will not stop. Not for my wife and not for my children, but for me first. How many of you have been on an airplane before? You've been on an airplane before. And the lady comes down and she's talking about the mask, right? She's talking about putting the mask on, right? Put the mask on yourself first, then put the mask on your children. Why? Because you'll pass out and then boom. Now all of you are dead. All of you have lost oxygen. But you put your mask on, now you have oxygen. Now you can move about the cabin and help other people. So the process is in the morning is, how do you properly wake up? Wake up and do some exercises. Do something. Do 1 push-up. Do 5 push-ups. Bend down and touch your toes. Stretch. Do a jumping jack. Do 5 jumping jacks. Walk in the gym. You might look around and be like, I don't even know what to do. Get on the treadmill and just take a walk. Get on the Stairmaster. Go for 1 minute. Go for 2 minutes. Right? Do something. Drink water. Lots and lots of water. Drink lots and lots of all the time. All day, every day. Drink water. Read just 1 page, and then read that 1 page and then apply it immediately. Immediately apply that. Immediately. Apply that thing that you read immediately. Right? If you don't know, one of the books I got, here's the book I got right here. This is the book that it's called The Untethered Soul. This is a must read. This is a must read. This is a must read. I would say if you are married, have children, you need to be reading this. I bought everybody a book. Everybody has this book. It's a must read. Must read. Right? There's another one. The Science of Attraction. The Science of Attraction. That's another one right there that I read a lot. Those two books, always. Referencing those two books. Constantly. Oh, somebody got hurt. It's wild. So today is raining outside over here, and my house is just going wild. They gone mad. But it's all good, though. It's all good. A woman is the gateway for a man's genes to move forward into the next generation, giving him lineage among the other competitors seeking continuous existence. So you have to, after you learn who you are, you're going to have to learn who she is. You're going to have to learn who she is. You're going to have to learn, and I don't mean, you're going to have to learn her nature first. Learn her nature first. Learn her nature. Understand that she takes a liquid. She takes a liquid and turns that liquid into a baby, into a human being. Right? And there's power in that. It's not her that's doing it. Actually, it's the creator, but she is the vessel. She is the vessel for that. So we got to understand that. So these are just a few things that we go, and I built the structure. I built Tracial 9 with a bunch of different types of books. I've built it so that I can give a method of the process so that I can take a man from where I was, right, just completely lost, not knowing anything, just, maybe he's overweight, take him and put him in a position where he's now the leader. He's now the leader, leading his family with his energy, with his communication, with his compassion, with his love. He's leading his family. He's serving his family. He's serving his wife and serving his children relentlessly every day. Every day. And what a lot of men do is they see their women, they see their women like, well, that's stupid. And, I don't want to do that. And I feel tired. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And they think like, well, I feel the same way too. Bullshit. No, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. Because what she's really saying is, are you going to step up right now? Are you going to step up right now? As a man, are you going to step up? What are you going to do? You know those women. They all do it. They all do it. I was raised by women. I was raised by the wolves. Do you got to understand that? And see, the very thing that I hated is the very thing that put me in this position. I hated the fact that I didn't have a mom and dad. But I was raised by the wolves. I was raised by she-wolves. So they taught me all of their tendencies. I know everything there is because they taught me. They literally taught me everything. All the things that are coming out now, everything that you see right now in social media, I've been taught by them when I was a kid. Because I had to grow up fast. You dig? My mom was putting me in suits and stuff like that and having parties and whatnot. And I was greeting people at the door. I was looking at how to be social. And then as I got older, I forgot about all that. I forgot about that. So anyway, that's it. Tracial 9. Peace. Love you. Have a good day. Aloha.